Good afternoon. In 1987, Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister and she was about to be re-elected for a third term. Unemployment was falling after its peak of nearly 12% a couple of years before. The London Docklands was being developed and the Docklands Light Railway was opened. Alex Ferguson had just been appointed manager of Manchester United and teachers had started teaching Year 10 pupils new courses called GCSEs. And me, I was worrying about taking their predecessor, O-levels, in a couple of months' time. At Christmas, someone was given the book Dear Me, a letter to my 16-year-old self. And in it, 75 celebrities of various kinds write letters to themselves as they were when they were 16. So, for example, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the South African known for his work as an anti-apartheid and human rights activist, writes, George Bernard Shaw said something like, "Youth is a wonderful thing. A pity it should be wasted on the young. Dream, be idealist, reach for the stars. Don't be affected by the cynicism of the ancients in your midst. God has endowed you with many gifts. Develop them to the fullest for the sake of others. You have your whole life before you. Go for it." Meanwhile, comedian Peter Kay advises himself to avoid stonewashed jeans and a girl called Carol, who he warns will break his heart twice. Former heptathlete and now sports presenter Denise Lewis writes, "Your aim right now should not be trying to be the best junior athlete. It should be to learn your trade and not worry about everyone else. Remember why you wanted to do this in the first place. It was never about the others. I'm certain you'll unlock your potential and you don't yet know you have it. I know you and your mum have not been getting on very well recently, but don't take it to heart. She only wants the best for you. One day she'll be bursting with pride and the whole world will see it." And fashion designer Zandra Rhodes tells herself, "Always put your work and learning first. Remember, you're building your life. Take no notice of what others say when they see you working. Tables turn later in life." It would be fascinating to be able to travel forwards and backwards in time, Doctor Who style, to a point when we're able to look back on ourselves as teenagers, to reflect on the fears and worries that seem to matter so much now, and then to consider whether they will still matter so much later in our lives when we'll have different concerns. One of the many advantages of being middle-aged is that we stop thinking quite so much about fitting in and what others might think. But even though it's a long time ago that I was 16, I can remember worrying about just those things. My father's job was insecure and we were very worried that he would be made redundant and not be able to get another because of his lack of qualifications. Which is why our parents were so keen that my brother and I did get the best qualifications we could in subjects that they thought were going to lead to employment. I was worried about getting the right grades, going to the right university, and whether I'd get it all done, work, other interests, seeing friends and so on. And I remember worrying about things happening in the world. Through the 1980s, the AIDS pandemic was spreading rapidly, and it seemed then like nothing else before. And despite all this, I had a really happy childhood and my time as a teenager. I was really lucky. I had choices, I was healthy, well cared for in a happy home. And yet, like many teenagers, there will have been times when I was grumpy, awkward, and didn't make life easy for those around me. And looking back several decades later, I appreciate that now. I suspect that little of what I have said will be totally unfamiliar to 2021 teenagers, and scientists now know far more about how the developing teenage brain affects behaviour. Without excusing everything, as teenagers our brain is rapidly changing until it settles down, fully formed in adulthood, which is now thought to be in our mid-20s. Before then, those changes account for, to some degree, for teenagers' difficulty getting up in the morning, their burning desire to fit in with peers, and their need for praise and encouragement. But because of the plasticity in our brains when we're teenagers, it's a period when we're best able to learn, to be creative, to question, and to take calculated risks, all of which can be really positive and exciting. A book I've recommended before, which explains all this, is The Secret Life of the Teenage Brain by neuroscientist Sarah Jane Blakemore. But returning to where I started, do think about that other book, Dear Me, A Letter to My 16-year-old Self, which provides a small insight into the lives of a variety of famous individuals well before they were famous. Indeed, no matter how accomplished and confident they seem today, at 16 they were like the rest of us, often unsure, frequently confused, and usually in need of a little reassurance. Sometimes recognising that others are in the same boat as we are now is itself reassuring. The issues that matter to us are probably troubling many around us. But also it's worth remembering that it was ever thus. Even those as ancient as I am were once teenagers, once worried about similar things, and were uncertain as to how life would play out for them. Usually things do work out for the best, even if we can't see it at the time. But what we need to do is our very best at everything we can tackle, to focus on what we can control now rather than those things which are out of reach for the moment, and to be true to who we really are and our values. And in several decades' time, if, having accomplished whatever we choose by using all our considerable talents to the full, if our future selves write a letter to us as we are today, what will we then be able to say? Thank you.